What's up, everybody? I'm going to take you on a quick knife skills tour through Zoom. I want to take you through some of the common technical questions. Where is this button? How does this work? What does that do? Get you a little more confident using Zoom, not just as a participant, but as somebody who hosts a meeting. There's actually two different kinds of Zoom accounts. There's a guest account, which is probably what you're using right now to participate in the session with Karen and I. And then there's a host account. And I'm going to show you things from the host account perspective. Things are a little bit different, and I'll point out a few of them. But as you can see, I'm logged into Zoom right now. If you don't already have a Zoom account, because you can attend Zoom meetings without an account, you just need the software. But you do want to get an account in order to host. You can go to zoom.us, sign up for a free account, and that lets you host meetings up to 40 minutes totally free. If you want to host meetings that are longer, get some of the more advanced features, it is worth paying. It's about $15 a month for a paid account, which is a steal for how many hours a day or week you might be spending in this tool. But the host account is where all the power tools are. So first off, I do want to point out that if you're nervous about being on camera, that is totally understandable. Even someone who's comfortable being in front of a room full of people, for some reason the camera comes on and we tense up, we freeze up. I can say this, it gets easier with practice. It is definitely different to talk to people on a screen than it does to talk to them in person, but if you keep doing it, you will get better at it. And one of the ways you can be a little more confident on screen is to adjust the position of your camera. So if you're on a laptop or a mobile phone or something like that, it might be down a little bit lower. And part of the reason I look the way I do is because my camera is actually up here. It's a little bit above my forehead. So what you want to do is actually get your camera up higher, at eye level or higher. Easy ways to do that. You can put your laptop up on a stack of books, or you can go to Staples or whatever and grab one of those laptop risers. They're less than $50, and it gets your camera up high, and it helps you look as good as you can. Is going to help you be a little bit more confident, and of course that's going to help you run a better meeting. So I'm going to start an actual Zoom meeting, which when you've logged into Zoom with a host account, you see this orange new meeting button. You can click right on that, and it opens up this view. And now you can see yourself, just like I can see myself. This is the main view without anybody else in it. Lets you do a little check, is there anything in the background that I didn't mean to be there? Is my hair okay? But the other thing that you can do from this view is get your Zoom link, your Zoom URL. This is important in terms of sharing to other people and saying, hey, come meet me here. And the way you do that is really easy. You start up this screen and you click this little I, and it'll say your name's personal meeting room, but this invitation URL right here, you can highlight and copy that, or they make it even easier. Just click copy URL. It puts it on your clipboard. And lets you then share that via email and a calendar invite, wherever else. And anyone you send that link to is going to, they click on it, it's going to open up Zoom on their computer or their mobile device and bring them right to you where you're waiting for them. And if you're not there, it'll put them in a little waiting room until you show up. Pretty handy, right? Now, another thing that I want to point out is where the tools are. If you spend a lot of time in Microsoft tools, for instance, like Word and Excel and Outlook, you're probably used to the tools being up at the top, right? That's where all the buttons are. That's where the menus are, and that's where all the power tools are. And Zoom is a little bit different, and I'm pretty sure this is true on both Mac, PC, even Linux, where if you mouse over, you move in the cursor in front of the screen like you can see mine moving, all the power tools, all the buttons are actually down at the bottom. So I think one of the reasons Zoom feels disorienting is because so many people are used to the tools being up top, and they put it down at the bottom. That was just their choice. But knowing where those tools are, where you're used to reaching up, reach down, that's where everything is. And you will notice that if you move your cursor away, it moves them out of the screen, so you have the full video, which will be useful, especially as you have more people in a meeting. But all you need to do is, to get it back, is move your cursor back onto the screen. And if it's not coming up, you can just click on the screen and make sure that it is the one that is highlighted, and then it'll show up for you. Now that I've showed you around some of those basics, I'm actually going to grab my share link and invite one of my teammates on screen to take you through a few more things. So grab my URL. And now off screen, I've shared that link with my team at Enea. And in just a couple of seconds, she's going to show up on screen and join us here in this meeting and help me take you through a couple more of the features of Zoom. Perfect timing. So now that Anea has jumped into the room, you'll see that it's going to put all the other guests up at the top and you down at the bottom. And depending on the configuration, as other people speak, it might actually bring them into focus down below, which gets kind of disorienting. So one of the things that I recommend people do, and I wish this was a default that you could set, but I haven't found it, is to start using gallery view, or as we call it, Brady Bunch view. So if you move your cursor up in the top right, there's this gallery view button. You click on that and it's going to put us side by side. And as more people come into the meeting, it's going to make our videos a little bit smaller and start to tile us out, just like the Brady Bunch grid from the opening of the TV show. This is my favorite way, especially as groups grow, to bring people together. And if you do for some reason want to go back to speaker view, which it'll also automatically do when you share your screen, we'll talk about that in just a second, you can just go back up here and toggle back to speaker view. But gallery view is my favorite way to having a meeting, so you can see everybody's faces, all their reactions at the same time. It starts feeling a little bit more like a meeting. Speaking of meetings, another thing that is super helpful in terms of leading a meeting is making sure people have an opportunity to speak, right? And one of the easiest ways to do that in an online meeting is to ask people to raise their hands. So there's two ways to do this. One is the old-fashioned way, which is if everyone has got their video camera on, to have them just raise their hand, right? And that allows you to take note that Anea might have something to say. I like to acknowledge that I saw somebody raise their hand when I maybe finish my thought. Take a note that I've got them in line, and then when I finish my thought, I'll hand it off to them. But Zoom does make this easy to do in the software as well. Also, if there's a bigger group or if people don't have webcams on their computer for some reason, they can maybe dial in still. And that is to actually click the raise hand button. And the way you do that, and you can follow along if you like, down in the bottom of your screen, where on mine it shows manage participants, yours says participants. And if you click on that, you should see a button that doesn't appear on mine because I'm a host, but does appear on yours where you can raise your hand. And you can click on that right now and test that out. I'm going to have Anea do the same. Anea, can you raise your hand? And you can see as the host, it shows me a little blue hand up here that Anea's got something to say. And now she knows by clicking that I've acknowledged it. And Zoom's pretty smart. It's actually going to move, if you've got a long list of participants, it'll move people with their hands raised all the way up to the top. And you can just go through them and have them either ask their questions or give their input, whatever it might be. And then people can lower their own hands, or you as the host can also mouse over their name and click lower hand, remove the blue hand as well. So easy way to have people take their turn, make sure everyone's getting their time in an online meeting. The last thing that I want to show you before we do that, though, is how to share your screen, because I mentioned that before. So I'm going to go down here at the bottom. Again, this is a super valuable little powerful tool. Click on share screen. And sometimes people are nervous about sharing their screen because maybe there's other documents up or things in your desktop. Maybe it's kind of messy. You don't want to show everybody everything. So instead of sharing your desktop, if you have another window open, you can choose a very specific window. So I'm going to close this first, and let's open up just the Indie Hall website in a Chrome browser, right? Let's say I wanted to share that, maybe get some feedback on the website or something like that. So if I click share screen, now I can choose a very specific screen, that one. It even gives you a little preview. And when I click share, for me, it puts the attendees over on the side and lets me move around, and anything I do on my screen, other people are going to see. And then what you'll see on your screen is more like what you're experiencing right now, with all of the participants up across the top and a big view of whatever is being shared. When you're ready to stop sharing, you can click on stop share. We're back into Brady Bunch view, and that's it. Two last little pieces of etiquette that I like to share. One is if somebody does enter a meeting partway through, I like to wave hello. I just think it's a friendly thing to do. It's the kind of thing that you would probably do in an in-person meeting. You don't have to stop talking. You don't even have to acknowledge their name. I just think it's nice to wave, say hello, and have folks know that you do see them. And similarly, to say goodbye. Just because it's an online meeting doesn't mean we leave politeness at the door. Saying goodbye, wishing people, a good rest of their day or afternoon or whatever it might be is really nice. And when you do, there is something that I want to show you. When you're ready to end a meeting, just like the one that we're having here with Anea, you mouse over the screen again to get the bar and click on End Meeting. And when you do, it's going to give you a couple of options. And which option you click is important. I've accidentally clicked the wrong one. If the meeting is over and everyone is going home, so to speak, and you want to close Zoom entirely, you can click End Meeting for All. It's going to bump everybody out. But sometimes a meeting's going on, there's some good conversation, but you need to leave. You need to leave the virtual space. But you want to allow them to continue speaking. Zoom lets that happen. You don't kick them out of your room unless you want to. And if you just click on leave meeting, it will close it for you. Your camera will stop, your microphone will stop, any of your screen sharing will stop, and they'll be able to continue talking until the last person is there. So hopefully that little knife skills tour was helpful for you, getting a little more comfortable and confident in Zoom. We're going to head over into the real Zoom, since this is a recording, for any questions as we wrap up today's session. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you over there. Bye.